Wow.
Good evening, family, and welcome to this week's edition of What's Going On. I am your host, Pastor Akin Bandele. I pray you all had a good week this week. Thank you for joining us tonight. A few preliminaries. Go ahead and share the video for us. We appreciate all of you being able to join us tonight. Share the video. And also you can text your friends and your families to join us tonight. We're going to have another great conversation tonight. I've got some guests with us that's going to be joining us. And I appreciate all our guests. I'm going to introduce them in a minute. But if you are just joining us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel and press that notification bell so that whenever we come live, you will be notified that we are live. And for my Facebook family, welcome to my program tonight, or my Facebook family. If you're not following us, go ahead and do that. Be our friend. I want to be your friend. Be our friend and join the conversation tonight. It's going to be a good program tonight because I got some young guests with me and I got some seasoned guests with me, and I'm going to introduce them one by one. But I give you a few minutes just to join us tonight. My guest, we're already live. You need to stop talking. All right. So I'm going to be bringing, I think they are eager to be on the program. They're already talking before I even bring them on. But let me introduce my first guest tonight. My first guest is Jonathan Myers, right here from Houston. He's a husband, a father of some great children, and a cameraman, an entrepreneur, just a great guy to know. So I welcome Jonathan Myers tonight. Bro, welcome tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight again. And if you've never been on my program, every time he's on our program, you are in for a treat. He's going to challenge you. So if you got your questions, feel free to ask your questions. And then I have Mr. OMG. Mr. OMG Olufemi, welcome to our program tonight. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join me tonight on our program. But Olufemi, welcome tonight to our program.
Thank you, sir.
All right, then we have, last but not the least, we've got our own Lady Betty. Lady Betty, that's my beautiful wife. Welcome to our program tonight. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm good, Pastor.
All right. Well, family, we are getting ready. We are waiting on you all to join the conversation. So let me see who are on with us tonight. We got several people already joining us. I welcome all of you tonight. We are going to continue from where we left off on last week, but we're going to add other things to this. We were talking about the presidential election from last week, and we had to talk about a few things we did not finish. So tonight, we're going to be talking about the role that the social media play, an online campaigning play, or what role will they play in this 2024 election, okay? And then we also may talk about what are some potential swing states that could actually determine the outcome of the election. And we'll talk about the voter, turnout. We're not going to talk about the third parties anymore because there really is a very few votes for the third parties. But then we're going to kind of dive into the great debate between the former President Trump and our current Vice President Kamala Harris. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So family, get ready. If you need to ask questions, you can type your questions and we will read it live and also answer your questions. I'm going to be asking my guests to answer questions tonight. And also, if you want to call to just ask your question online, the number to call is 713-777-5000. 713-777-5000. and we will take your call. All right, family. Let me start with Lady Betty. Lady Betty, what role do you think social media, I'm talking about TikTok, Facebook, IG, any online campaigning, what role do you think those will play in the 2024 election?
From what I've seen, I didn't feel this way at first, but from what I've seen with Taylor Swift and having all of those people that are following her, it seems like it's being used to gain voters.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're so right about that. You're so right about that. What about you, Brother Jonathan?
Sorry, I was on mute.
All right.
I think it's the same. You know, try to get that young vote, that 18, fresh 18 vote, 18 to 24 with the younger crowd. I think that's what they're trying to do. Like Sister Betty said with Taylor Swift.
I mean, with Taylor Swift, just kind of, I mean, I don't know if that was timing or what, because she did it right after the debate, or right in the middle of the debate, and in a few hours, got over 380,000 in less than 1 day to register to vote. Now, it doesn't mean they will vote, right? It doesn't really mean that. It may not equate to votes for former President Trump or votes for VP Kamala Harris. But just to be able to get young people involved, that's exciting in my opinion. To get young people that don't really care about politics. They don't care about who is running. They just want to go to college, get out of college. Hopefully they don't have any debt. But to be able to get those young voters, 18 to like 30, 35, registering to vote, I think that's very commendable. That's very commendable of her. But Brother Josh, what do you think, Mr. OMG?
The only thing I think social media is going to do is put an eye on the bits and pieces that get posted. Social media is very big on following. So they're just going to follow what they see on social media. They're not going to do any research on either party. So whatever is posted is what they're going to run with.
Oh, wow.
Whether or not that affects the polls, I think yes and no. It just reminds me of when Obama was running. It was a lot of hype train for the first, African-American president. So I think they're taking a page out of his book, trying to get the hype of a first woman president and then a first, quote unquote, Black woman president.
What do you mean, quote unquote?
Hey, that's based on what you want to believe and what she's put out. So I leave that at that. But yeah, first woman president. So I think they're trying to go on the hype of that. So they're really trying to push that.
I see. No, and if somebody like Swift can get all of these people to register to vote, and if they all actually go out to vote, am I hearing that that they seem to be followers, and because Taylor Swift is actually supporting Kamala Harris, does that mean all those 380,000, if they go out to vote, you think they will vote for Kamala Harris? Let me ask Joshua about that. Yes.
I think potentially.
Really?
Because at the end of the day, it's sheep. If it's similar to Beyonce, if she say wear silver to her concert, you're gonna wear silver to her concert. I think it's gonna be the same thing with Taylor Swift and who she endorsed. My issue is, why didn't you ask people to register to vote before this year? Well, that's with any celebrity or anybody. Like, why isn't the push to vote always a big thing amongst the celebrities to get young people to go register and to go vote? Like, why is it now that you decide you want to tell your followers to go out and vote?
I see. What about you, Lady Betty?
I think a lot of people that are followers of different individuals, like Olufemi said, will just follow their following and not really go and check out the information that they should.
They won't do their own research. But tell
So
us
it's a
from
bad
them.
thing, Pastor, that I feel when you just follow because you're following somebody on Instagram or all of these platforms that you just following them. I think it's a very sad thing that you can influence so many thousands of people to make a bad decision. If in
Well,
fact that is a bad decision.
people follow pastors, they follow bishops, they follow prophets.
Hmm.
So it's the same thing. I mean, it's just a matter of influence. Brother Jonathan, what do you think?
No, I agree. I think they were spot on.
Yeah.
It's not it's that group. I don't trust Taylor Swift giving me any advice on anything, especially who to vote for.
Do you like her music?
So I've never heard a song before.
Okay.
So it's like what they're said. It's like what Sister Betty said. It's like what Josh said. Are they going to educate themselves? That's really what matters. You know, like she said once again, that means they'll follow her off a bridge. There are some people that will follow her off a bridge, and we see that too many times with
All
celebrities.
right.
So they're spot on.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for that. So we know definitely from what I'm hearing, social media and online campaigning will actually play a major role because people listen to IG, TikTok, Facebook, and if you have a celebrity that's saying something and following a particular candidate, they're going to try to follow that celebrity. It's like Beyonce. I mean, they're using Beyonce's song now for Kamala Harris' campaigns. If she comes out and say, "Hey, I'm supporting her," guess what? Everybody that follow Beyonce going to try to do the same thing. Just like they brought in Oprah Winfrey. I mean, Oprah Winfrey, had to speak at the Democratic convention, and I know she has a lot of following too. So most people don't do their own research. And one thing I like what Taylor Swift said was, though, I want you all to register to vote and do your own research. I like that she said that. She's not saying vote for Donald Trump or vote for Kamala Harris. She said, I need you all to get out there and register. Do your research and vote.
But in a way, she is telling them who to vote for because she is saying who
Lady Betty, let somebody talk. I can't hear both of you. Go ahead.
She's endorsing the person she feels like fits the bill to be in office. So without saying it, she's telling them who she wants them to vote for. Although she made a politically correct statement by saying do your own research, she knows her influence. And she knows at the end of the day, a lot, I would say 75%, if not more, are going to go just off the strength that she is endorsing Harris.
I see. All right. Well, thank you. Let's see if we have any comments online. We see quite a few people joining us, but I don't see any comments. Maybe my AV team can help me. Good evening, Alice. Good evening. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. Hakeem 18, yes, it was a great tactic to get these famous people on your side. Now the famous person will follow the president. Okay. Oh, the famous person followers will follow whichever candidate they choose. Yeah, I think that's what my guests are saying too, Hakeem 18. I guess it is what it is. Good evening, Alice Hinkson. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. If you have any, hey, Lilette, God bless you. Thank you for joining us tonight on this conversation. Anybody else that have any comment about the social media influencing even the election? You can comment, or if you want to call to ask questions, you can call us at 713-777-5000, 713-777-5000. All right. Now, how is voter turnout being addressed by the candidates and their campaigns, by both Donald Trump's both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. How is voter turnout being addressed by each one of them? How are they addressing it? I know Donald Trump does a lot of big events, you know, with a lot of people campaigning when he's campaigning in every state. How do you think the voter turnout will be addressed by these candidates themselves? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So I think Harris is showing you how she's gonna go about it. She's
How?
gonna try to find the biggest names to endorse her.
Okay.
Those that are in the spotlight. Like I've had private conversations. Trump has already showed you what he's gonna give you.
Okay.
And a lot of people are saying he's caught off guard. I think Harris is bringing out all the stops to try to get the vote, whereas Trump is standing 10 toes down and he's saying, hey, this is what it is. This is what you get. Either you vote for me or you don't. He's not, to my opinion, he's not pandering to a specific group of people to try to vote for him. He knows who's going to vote for him and he's going to say what he has to say. Whereas in my opinion, I feel like Harris is grabbing at straws. And so there's a lot of celebrities that are getting involved, like I said, that aren't normally involved in politics or stay out of politics.
I see. But do you think he should expand his sphere though, Trump, and not just? I know you got your base. That it don't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter if you fall down on the stage, they will vote for you. You got your base, but your base alone cannot win you the election. You need to expand out. Your base, I mean, if Trump only depends on the base, it's going to be tough. But I'm going to I tell you, I got a caller. Let me bring my caller online tonight. Caller, you are on the line. You are joining us on what's going on. Good evening. How you doing?
Yes, so hopefully you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. Because I want to comment on the comment that was just made that Ms. Harris was actually grasping at straws. I'm trying to figure out grasping at straws. There was just a debate the other day, and the debate indicated you had one person that was able to answer questions. You had another one that basically couldn't answer not one single question. So how is she grasping at straws? It should be the other way around.
Okay, let me, if you can hold on, I'm going to let my guest, go ahead, guest. You heard what she said.
So we're talking, oh, go ahead, Jay.
Brother Jonathan, go ahead.
The first question of the debate, they asked her clearly, was America better before their administration or after or was better before their administration? She did not answer the question. She did not. And it showed what I saw last night is that Trump was held to a different standard than she was. He was forced to give yes or no answers on certain questions, and Kamala wasn't forced to actually answer questions. So I would suggest that people go back and listen to the interview, and let's just start with the first question. Did she answer the question? She did not. And I thought she got a lot of handouts. She got a lot of alley-oops. One being that the young lady who was moderating was a sorority sister. So I think Trump has done a very good job of going into the fire. He's done multiple interviews. He's also
wait a minute. You sure? Are you sure? Is that a fact? Is that a fact? What you just said?
We just talked about doing research. Everybody, please go do your research.
Okay. So you think the sorority sister was doing a favor for Kamala Harris? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay. Lady Betty, you guys will say about that?
She wasn't forced to answer questions.
Pastor, I'm not certain a question that he asked Donald Trump.
Okay, that's
fine. Wait, I need to make this statement though. And he put words, and I mentioned it to you, that Donald Trump, even the man, Donald Trump never said what he turned around and said. Oh, he said no, and he never used the word no.
I don't
But
even
the
understand. I don't
but the
understand what you are
orator.
referring to, what you are talking about.
Okay,
My
all right,
viewers don't know
Pastor.
what you are talking about either. Can you tell
Okay,
my viewers what you
I'm
are
just
referring to?
saying when the orator asked Donald Trump a question. I don't remember
Okay, the
what the
interviewer.
question. Can you hold on, Pastor? He asked him a question, and Donald Trump's response was not what the orator began to speak.
You mean the
And
interviewer? You can't say the
the
orator. Yeah.
interviewer. I'm sorry, but he said, "Oh, he said no," and I looked at you and I said to you, I said he never said no.
My viewers still don't know what question was that. But anyway,
Okay,
let's
but
move on. Let me
like
move on. Let me move
Jonathan
on. Lady
say, they
Betty, let
can
me
go
move
back
on.
and view it.
Since you don't know the question, let me move on. My viewer are going to be confused. Thank you very much for your comment, Lady Betty. If you got facts, then my viewer need to hear what you are saying. Brother Josh, Yolanda, are you, my caller, are you okay with the reply that they just gave you? Are you okay with the response that Joshua and
Can't hear.
oh, you couldn't hear them?
I can't. I'm gonna call back in, Pastor. I can't hear right now. I'm gonna call right back.
Okay, all right.
Look at
Well,
God.
thank you for calling.
Look at God.
All right. Well, family, we'll let's go to our next question. Let's go to the next question. We're going to talk about the debate, and I call it the great debate. Right? Okay, I'm going to start with Brother Jonathan. Do you think the debate was fair the way it was conducted?
No.
If it is, tell us why you think it's fair. If it's not, tell us why you think it was not fair.
I think it wasn't fair because she didn't answer questions from the jump. Like, if we're going to be fair, if we're going to fact check everything, if we're going to call out Donald Trump for not giving you a yes or no answer, it needs to be on both sides. And from the first question, she was able to get away with not answering this specific question. Do you believe that Americans were better before you got into office? She didn't answer it. She went into her plan. She went into where she came from, middle class this, middle class that. Don't nobody care. This is really our first time seeing you on a national stage being debated.
Yeah,
we
but
don't
what
know
I'm
you.
talking about, what I'm talking about is not about their responses. I'm talking about the interviewers, the moderators.
I know what you're saying.
The moderator and an ABC, were they fair with the way they conducted the debate?
No.
No. Okay. Why did you say they were not fair?
Because what Trump was forced to answer every single question. She was not.
Okay.
From that point alone, it's not fair. And it started from the first question.
Okay. I've got I've got a caller that I want to respond to what you say, and then I'm going to let Brother Joshua respond to that. Caller, you are back on the air. Jonathan said ABC and the moderators were not fair.
You know what? You're exactly right. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair because every time she had something to say, he had a rebuttal to say something that was so off the course. But what gets me is a comment that was just made that they asked one question, initial question, and they're saying that she couldn't answer. They asked 20 more questions and he can answer not a one. So it's not even apples for apples. When you look at exactly what happened, I'm not really sure what y'all was listening to. They would ask him a question, and he would go all the way around the world and avoid the question, but couldn't answer not a one. Not a one.
Yeah, I think former President Trump actually have some policies that he should have pushed on that debate. And my problem was he allowed himself to be baited by Kamala Harris as an attorney.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, he baited him and he took the bait every time. Instead of driving his policies about good economy, driving his policies about the borders, driving your policy. But this woman who is a prosecutor baited you about 6 or 7 times. And you fell for the bait, talking about your crowd. And I mean, I knew it was a bait, and I didn't think he would go for it, but he went for it, especially when she was talking about people leaving his his rally early because it was boring. Man, she struck a nerve, and he took the bait and went off on crowd instead of just talking about your policy. Brother Joshua, what do you think?
I'm gonna take a page from Keon's book. I'm gonna say, was it fair? Yes and no. I think they allowed both of them to get away with not answering questions. They allowed both of them to interrupt one another.
Yeah.
When they were trying to move on, they allowed them to continue or go back to, answer questions or rebuttal what the opposite person said. So I would say yes and no. It was fair in some instances and then unfair in other instances.
What about Lady Betty? Was it fair? ABC? Not the candidates, ABC and the moderators. Were they fair?
I don't think the moderators were actually fair. They were more compromising toward her. But I want to add something.
Really? Okay, really?
Even though she came with a few ideas that she wanted to do, one thing I was thankful about him was he is not making promises that he cannot keep, except for the fact that he's going to make America. It's like he's not already implementing it. He really has to see where America is.
We didn't hear any policies from either of them.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So neither one of them gave any policies, but he was, for lack of a better word, pointed at, because he didn't make any policies, but it was not thrown at her that same way.
Neither of them have really real policies, but when you said they were not fair to that they were favoring Kamala Harris, I look at how many minutes Trump talked and how many minutes Kamala Harris talked. They're supposed to give them, let me finish. They're supposed to give them equal amount of time. Trump actually spoke 13 more minutes than Kamala Harris because he kept interrupting. Even when they wanted to go on, he kept saying, I need to respond to that. I need to respond to that. Anyway, I got a caller on the line. Thank you very much, I guess. Caller, go ahead.
Oh, usually I don't get into these things because this is definitely a Democratic show, and this is a definite far left experience every time that I'm on the line with you. However, I will say that if you didn't get any policies that Donald Trump is trying to give you, it's because you should have been listening for the last 6 months when he has been telling you exactly what he plans to do.
Give me four of those policies. Number one.
Okay, the democracy in you has decided to interrupt you with your speech, but I will allow it. Number one, he has said that he will remove the taxes from your overtime pay.
Number two.
He has also said he will remove the taxes from tips. He has also said that he will vow to drive the illegal immigrants that are coming into the country illegally.
He's going to deport all of them. Yeah. No, okay. That's number three. Number four.
Yeah, interesting. Finishing the wall that he has put up. He is going to tax China. Oh, I'm sorry, you only asked me for four.
No, that's good. That's good. He's going to tax China. Okay, that's good. So we hear some of the policies. And by the way, let me correct you. This is not a Democratic program. This is what's going on. And I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. So I'm an independent. I vote either way. And I also learned something from Brother Jonathan last week, that this election is not about the president alone, which is why I kept bringing Jonathan on my program. He actually educated my viewers in 2 weeks in a row, telling them you need to look at your local elections. Look at the judges, look at all that. So anyway, thank you very much, caller, for joining us on the program tonight. Thank you. Oh, you want to ask a question? Go ahead, ask your question.
My question was, can you name me 4 policies that Ms. Harris wants to put in place and how she's going to make those happen?
Okay, can you all hear him? Can you name any policies that Harris has rattled off, and how is she planning to put them in place? How is she planning to pay for them or whatever? Lady Betty.
You on mute.
Okay, let's go to Jonathan.
Okay,
Jonathan, go ahead.
all I can think of is what she said about giving $6,000 for the new babies, giving new homeowners the $25,000, and that is
The
the
down
only
payment?
thing.
Okay, yeah,
Down
my
payment.
caller is asking you, even though she rattled that off several times, how, my caller is asking, how, she didn't tell us how she gonna pay for it, where she gonna get that money from and all that.
You know, that is one of the things Donald Trump said, that she's making a lot of things that she cannot come through on. He
Okay,
did
all right.
mention that in the debate.
All right, Brother Jonathan, my caller is asking, you know, everything you've heard in the debate about the promises made by Kamala Harris. Did any of them stand out to you, and how, you know, the caller is asking, okay, she's making all of these big promises. How is she going to pay for them, or how is she going to carry them out? Bro, Jonathan, what do you think?
She can't. She can't. We still waiting
She
on student
cannot.
loans.
Okay, all right.
She
Say that
cannot.
again now.
Yeah, I don't believe she can.
Okay, but what policies, I mean, what things that she said that you say she cannot? I know the debate just mentioned
First of all, the
$6,000 for the
$25,000
child credit.
down on the home.
So the 25,000 is what you are
Yeah,
talking.
well, $6,000. Yeah. I know real estate agents, they offer that anyway. And all that's going to do is add $25,000 onto the price of the original home.
Judge.
Okay, what
She
about
can't do
the
that.
6,000?
It sounds like bankruptcy.
What about the 6,000 that the child tax credit? You don't think she can do that either?
No.
Okay, all right. Brother Josh, what do you think?
So I will agree with the whole 25,000. I don't know where she plans to get it from.
Okay.
The 6,000, people have to remember that's what the child tax credit used to be anyway.
That's right. That's exactly what I was going to tell you.
until
they reduce.
Until they reduced it within this administration, FYI. And so now it's going back to what it used to be. So yeah, you're making a promise, but to me, it's like, oh no, you realize you messed up the American people by taking that child tax credit or cutting it down.
And now you're bringing it back up, huh?
Then now you're just bringing it back up to the standard.
To where it was before. Okay.
The only thing I think, at least as far as policies that I feel like she will be able to accomplish, and she's probably going to make it happen if she is in office, is the women's rights thing. She's been on that for the full 3.5 or however many years that administration has been in office. And so I think if she does get elected, that is something that's going to be pushed for sure, because it is a big conversation, women's rights and the whole abortion time frame and who's allowed to. Although Donald Trump said he wants the states to make that decision, I think she's trying to just make it across the board. This is what it's going to be type thing. But I think that is one that she would be able to make happen.
Push through. Okay. Okay. Caller, are you any other question?
Yeah, I do have a question. When the tax credit was removed from 6,000 to 4,000, who did that?
I think my guest just said that this administration did it. Biden and Kamala. Yeah.
Okay, so you want credit for undoing what you did? I appreciate you for allowing me on your show, man. Wish you continued greatness in whatever you're trying to do, but I honestly think that it's simple for decisions to be made as far as who should be the president, and I think that there are definite biases that will not allow a certain person to be the president just based on how you feel about him and not how actual policies are.
So you're saying that people are not voting for because of policies, they're voting because of
skin color and
favoritism. Okay, all right. I see your point. All right. Thank you, caller. Appreciate that. All right, family, thank you for joining us on this week's edition of What's Going On. We are talking about the great debate between former President Trump and our Vice President Kamala Harris. And by the way, let me stress this again. This is not a Democratic show. This is not a Republican show. This is what's going on. All we do is talk about what's going on, and my callers have their views, my guests have their own views, and I have my own views. So I just want everybody to understand that it is not a political program. It's what's going on, and what's going on in our country right now is about the election, and we got to have conversation about it. This is why I brought these great minds on my program. So it is not a monologue. We are listening to Brother Jonathan and his views and his convictions. We are listening to Brother Joshua about his views and his convictions, and Lady Betty about her views and her convictions. And those are their personal views and their personal convictions. And you can have yours too. So this is why I love this program. I don't want it to be a monologue. I want people to be able to dialogue and talk about issues that's going on. Again, thank you very much, all our callers. I've got my
There's
next
some
question.
comments on YouTube.
Oh, we got some comments on YouTube. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to YouTube. Let me see. You'll excuse me while I find my YouTube. Okay, question on YouTube. You'll give me a minute. I'm trying to get to it. All right, we got some questions. Okay. I've got a question from, I've got a comment from Hakeem 18. In my opinion, they both answered questions and they both did not answer questions. I'm 100% in agreement with you, Hakeem 18. Trump definitely have better policies. Okay, so that's coming from Hakeem 18. Ali said he focused on the ignorant, or maybe she meant to type immigrants. He focused on the immigrants and deporting 11 million, 18 million people when he gets in office. I still don't know how he's going to do that, but they asked him and he gave them specifics. He's going to have people go door to door, and you're going to show your your passport. You're going to show your green card. And your name better not be Jose Fernandez. We're going to want to see your driver's license, your passport, and your immigrant paperwork, or you've been deported. All right. Thank you very much, Hakeem 18. Hey, one thing I can give President Trump, former President Trump, was he told them, because they asked him, how are you going to deport all these people? He said, we're going to use the police officers. We're going to use, who else?
National Guards.
National Guard. He
Everybody.
answered that question. I'm going to use the National Guard, the police force. They're going to go door to door and find out who you are. And I don't know if he could pull that off, but he said that's what he's going to do. So, Steve, he made a promise to end the Ukraine war before he takes office. That's a promise he did not make last night. Well, Steve, he made a promise that he will end Ukraine war before he takes office. Number one, that's a lie, because that is illegal. You cannot interfere with the current president until you actually become president. Until you may win the election, but you cannot do anything about policy or nothing else. So he cannot end the war in Ukraine until it. So when I heard it, I said, "Dude, that's illegal. You can do that. You're not the president yet until you are sworn in." So anyway, but he said he will end the war. Now, he may be ignorant about when he could do it. He cannot do it just because you win the election. You have to do it after you are actually, until actually you are sworn in. But once he's sworn in, he said he could be able to do it. He said he would do it, and he would do it in a few days. He said, they said, how are you going to do it? He said, I'm going to make a call to both of them. I'm going to call the leader of Ukraine. I'm going to call the leader of Russia. I'm going to talk to both of them. I'm going to put an end to this foolishness. So he told us how he's going to do it. He may have messed up on the timing that he could do it, but he told us how he's going to do it. So thank you very much, Steve Haynes. Hakeem, 2 minutes each. 1 minute for the rebuttal was supposed to be the plan. Yeah, I know that, but I think they were being respectful of the candidates. I kept saying, why you didn't mute the microphones? Why you didn't mute the microphone? You told us 2 minutes. We don't want to hear for either of them. If Trump is talking, Kamala, we don't want to hear your mouth. You can make faces like like you did. You can make faces. We don't care. But you cannot open your mouth. It's all about communication. But she interrupted him and he interrupted her a lot too. So both of them interrupted each other, even though they were not supposed to. All right. Jamie, I remember her saying something about Roe v. Wade. Yeah, Jamie, that's what Olufemi was referring to. That Kamala Harris' policy will be on the first day in office. Her agenda is to make sure they bring back Roe v. Wade and give women rights to their bodies. Even though President Trump said that needs to be in this hand of the states to decide. Kamala Harris, I don't think she really said they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade again, so that it will be the law of the land. My problem is they cannot keep ruling by executive orders. Because if you do that, every time another president comes, they're going to overrule your executive order. They need to make that be set again in the court system. But she said in her policy, she's going to give all these women their rights back. Now, what is your view about that, Brother Jonathan? As far as letting a woman and her doctor decide what she wants to do with her body, as opposed to having the federal government do it or the state government do it. What do you think?
It's funny because I had a very heated but passionate conversation with my sister for about 2 hours regarding this issue. I believe that outside of the 3 major issues, which is the health of the mother, incest, and the R word, I think that's a no-brainer. Okay. You have the decision to do whatever you want to do. But what I do also believe is that 85% of these abortions are just people not practicing safe sex and people just being reckless. That's my belief. And I think that they're trying to add their issues and they're campaigning for these things. But if we really want to be honest, it's about recklessness majority of the time. And it's not fair to women who fall under those 3 major categories that we have to keep having this battle, because ultimately majority of you guys want to be reckless. So that's my stance on it. And I don't think it's fair to the women who fall under those 3 categories that they have women who are championing this because they want to be reckless.
I see. Thank you very much. That's very insightful, really, to understand that the fact that people are just reckless when it comes to sexual immorality, just reckless. Yeah. And then you get pregnant, you want to go abort the pregnancy. So thank you very much for those views, Brother Jonathan. Brother Joshua, what do you think?
I agree 100% with what Jonathan just said. Those are 3 exceptions to whatever rule or whatever law should be put in place. But I do feel like there needs to be something in place that they're not just going to allow you to have an unlimited membership card at the abortion clinic. That whenever you sleep,
membership card,
whenever you sleep with this one night stand of this person you met at the club, or this man that you have always said is no good, and then you get pregnant and now you want to go have an abortion. I think you have the right to make your choices, but you don't get to choose the consequences. And I feel like with them saying that they want to be able to have their choices and, have the right to choose their body, their rules. I think they want to escape the consequences. The consequences of having unprotected sex with somebody you don't deem fit to be a father and build a family with is that you should be able to raise this child.
That means close your legs. All right.
Simple as that.
Just close your legs. Get you a padlock. All right. You all know nothing opens after 2 legs. Lady Betty, what do you think?
Okay, in my opinion, I know they don't want the government to be involved, but I've heard so much about doctors too. So now they want to include the doctor in their decisions. And with all the things that we have heard about many doctors, we have to be careful in putting it in doctors' hands also, because they could be paid or they can do just about whatever they want to do. And when you're not knowledgeable in that field, you'll just agree with what the doctor says, and it doesn't mean that it's true. So I think it's still in a bad place, taking
Okay.
it out of the government hand and trying to put it in the doctor's hand and the patient, because they
All
could
right.
say it's rape and it's not rape. I mean, who's to tell?
Okay.
They
All right.
could say that it's something wrong with the child and there's nothing wrong with the child. They could say it's something going to happen to the
But
mother and there's nothing going
what
to
does the
happen to the
doctor, what
mother.
does the doctor gain in saying you are delivering it?
Money.
Hold on before you answer. I didn't ask my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You always speak before you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go on, Pastor.
The question is, what do you think the doctor, okay, the doctor is doing a C-section anyway. He's getting paid for the C-section. What do you think he has something to gain by killing the child? Lady Betty?
Yes,
Money.
yes, sir. And I would say it again because on our last program, Minister Yolanda mentioned the spirit of greed. So if I can get a few more dollars, okay, doing something that you want, and it's easy, like what you said, Pastor, I've got the body already open. So it's a lot easier if we went in there with the plan that I paid you to abort this baby. This is doctor-patient confidence. So he doesn't have to tell anybody what him and the patient had agreement with.
Let
So
me
I
ask
still
you,
feel like,
so you agree that if a woman gets pregnant, the government now needs to follow her around to make sure she's not going to abort her baby? I mean, you
no,
moving in the wrong direction.
Pastor, no, that's
Let
not
me
what I'm saying.
let me have it.
Okay, go
Brother
ahead.
Jonathan, go ahead.
She's right in a sense, and I'm going to say that she's right when she's talking about greed, because I know from a firsthand experience. I have a wife who works in labor and delivery. And one of the things that I do know is that a lot of minority women are having C-sections that they don't need. The reason why they're having them is just, let's just say Dr. Adam has a golf tournament he wants to attend. Oh, you're high, you're now your high blood pressure. We need to schedule out a C-section. It happens way too often in that industry when it comes to women's health. And there are a lot of greedy doctors, and it's damaging our community a lot more. And that's something that I know for a fact. And that's why the government is trying to have programs like doulas be a part of the labor and delivery process so that doesn't happen. So I think I would be behind Kamala if she pushed an agenda to have doulas in the delivery room or someone like a midwife with that patient, so certain things like that don't happen too often to our women.
Amen.
I hope VP Kamala Harris, I hope one of the campaign people hear your comment, which would be a good checks and balances also for the doctors to have people like your wife that do home deliveries to be in the hospital with the women. And they can hire many of them to actually be in the delivery room to be a witness. And because they deliver babies naturally themselves anyway. So now they can be in there to be a witness, to actually, be there so that no illegal stuff is being done. Thank you very much. Let's go to my comments online. Jamie, I hope you got your answers with about Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade had been a law in the land for I don't know how many years, where women have the right to their own health care, whatever they want to do with their health care. So once it got overturned, it started affecting people that really needed to have their health care if they were raped, or if it was an incest, or maybe the child died in the womb, 6 months of pregnancy or 5 months of pregnancy. You lose your child, no heartbeat, but you cannot take that child out until you carry that dead child to birth. So I like what Jonathan said. They should give those women the right to actually seek health care. Maybe, like he said, involve some of these people that deliver babies from homes, involve them in it. They may be able to deliver that baby without, I don't know, many of the times when people have miscarriages, the baby is already dead in their womb. but the baby may not actually be always dead. I don't know. The doctors and the midwives should be able to go in and see if they can save that life, save that child, as opposed to allowing that woman to carry a dead fetus to term just because no doctors will perform the surgery. So that's what, what Brother Jonathan and Brother Joshua said. I agree with that. There need to be exemptions when you have women that actually want children, both husband and wife, they want a child. And then they have a miscarriage, but you cannot take that baby out until you carry that dead baby to term. That is cruelty, in my opinion. So I appreciate that, Brother Jonathan, Brother Joshua, for what you said about that. Let me go to Ethu. Donald Trump has not given any way he's going to make things happy. As well, he's still trying to build a wall. Well, anybody want to comment on that comment?
Because the new complaint is, why do we have all these immigrants in the U.S.? So if that's the complaint that Donald Trump is hearing, he's like, hey, y'all remember when I was in office and I was building this wall and nobody wanted to support me in building this wall? Like, I don't know. I feel like he showed you and told you what he's going to do, and I don't think he's going to continue to beat a dead horse. And
I don't think he's going to allow the illegals to come in either. I think he's going to do something about it. If he wins the election, that's one of the first things he's going to do.
Right. Like, I don't know how either of them are going to do anything when they get in office. But to me, Trump has a track record of at least starting what he said he's going to do. Now, he might get pushed back and he might, they might not fund it or they might not do these things, but he at least starts the things that he says he wants to do.
And I believe, I agree with you, what you said, Brother Joshua, because he planned to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's why he packed those courts. And he knew if it wasn't something that he did overnight, he planned that. And he promised the white evangelicals that he will do it, and he did. He promised he was going to build that wall, and he started. Mexico didn't pay for it, but he started the wall. And even though he said, I built the wall, Mexico going to pay for it, well, he did half of it. He built the wall, but Mexico didn't pay. We paid. But at least he started building that wall. And if he has finished building the wall, they probably won't be able to come in. So I agree with you, Brother Josh, about that at least he started what he promised he was going to do. All right. Hakeem 18, she named some things that her and Biden came up with, but not a lot of policies that she actually have in place and ready to serve the people. Nothing concrete with an itinerary. That's right, Hakeem 18. We have not heard anything concrete about everything she said. So we don't know how she's going to, do everything that she promised. So Ethel Simpson, the man is a loose cannon. Well, let me go on. I don't need comments on that. Alison, she said that she would tax the rich who are not paying anything now. Okay, they say Kamala Harris says she will tax the rich people that are not paying anything right now. What do you think about that? Lady Betty, what do you think about that?
Okay, I understand that, but how is that going to affect those that work for the rich? That work for those that are rich? How is it going to affect them and their taxes?
I think the country will just have more money. The country will have more money to do other things.
No, can I just state this, Pastor? If you're taxing the rich, which most likely they have employees, right? And I think when they start taxing the rich, so that sounds like a good idea, but I don't know that it is. And but if they tax the rich, I do believe that the people that are working under them will be affected by the taxation that they're taxing the rich with. So we're all going to feel the effects of the rich being taxed. So we should consider that.
I disagree with you.
Okay,
I think I totally disagree with you. I think they need to make taxes equal for everybody. Make it whatever percentage you want to make it, and don't let anybody have any write-offs on. If you're going to make taxes 7% for everybody, make it 7%. If you're gonna make it
But-
10%, make it 10% for everybody.
But what are you basing this percentage off of? Because
10%, whatever percentage they
10%
pay.
of right, but 10% of my wages is detrimental to me versus detrimental to somebody who is a billionaire.
You're paying 28% of your wages right now.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm
That's what I'm
saying is
saying.
how
So you
how are
paying
you coming to this?
28%? You're paying 28%, Josh. I'm paying
Okay.
28%. The rich people are paying 1 or 2%.
Right, and
not bad.
America is $35 trillion in debt.
Yeah. So we can
Hold
pay
on.
that debt off if the billionaires will pay their fair share of taxes. Brother Jonathan, yeah, go ahead.
You can't just tax the rich because they're rich. You can't do that. We
Agreed.
see what happened when you tax the rich. They're gonna outsource their companies to different countries, and they're just gonna pay the taxes on tariffs to get their goods back inside. They're gonna
No, I'm
lay
not
off.
talking about taxing their company, though. I'm talking about personal taxes of these rich people. If I make $100,000 a year and you charge me 10%, right? That's 10,000. If you make $1 million a year, they need to charge you 10%. It's equal taxation. That's what I'm talking about. It makes a lot of sense to me. If it's equal, if I make $100 a year, you only tax me $10. That's it. Now you making 40,000 a year, they charge you 28%, and I'm making, Jonathan is making 500,000, and they only charge him 2%. And Lady Betty is making 10 million instead of paying 1 million. She's paying. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's why
If
I asked,
you
what
make it-
is it based on? Who is it going to be based on? Because to me, that sounds unfair to, the people that's not for. I think for the rich people, that's unfair because you're saying
It's equal sacrifice, equal taxation.
right. But although
Whether
it's
you
e-
rich or you poor, you paying 10% or 5%. I don't care what percentage. I'm saying whether I'm rich or poor. Just like when you look at God, God asks the church people to bring 10% to his house.
right.
So if you make $10 million a year, you give $1 million to the church. If you make $100 a year, you give $10. If you make, you see what I'm saying? So it's equal sacrifice, equal taxation. So there won't be none of this stuff of you hiding your money here or hiding there. But the poor don't know where to hide their money. So
They're still
they
going to
take
do
it.
that, even if it was even across the board. They're still going to find a way to hide this money away because hey, I used to be taxed 4% or 5% or whatever my taxes were, and now you're telling me I have to pay 10%. I don't want to pay 10%, so I'm going to find a loophole or a way
Yes.
to go stash this in a company or stash this in my kids' trust fund or stash this over here where
Mhm.
you can't touch that money.
But you're going to have to get a W-2 first. All these
Pastor-
You
billionaires,
guys,
all these billionaires have W-2s. They get W-2s.
Pastor.
Basically, they determine how much money they want to make.
Right.
So they can leave the money in their company to pay less taxes, but you can't take the money personally and not pay taxes on it. That's what I'm talking about.
And so
I agree with Brother Jonathan.
and you believe these people are going to abide by that.
They're going to have to if you get a W-2. You got to abide by it.
They don't abide by it now. They get W-2s.
No, they don't, Pastor. They don't. Think
Pastor.
about,
Because
a
they are,
rich man.
you know why? Because there are, hey, listen, I have a very complicated tax myself because there are loopholes to write this off and write that off.
Right.
But I'm saying if the government say, we don't care what you want to write off. If your W says, after we take our federal taxes, if your W-2 say $30,000, you're going to pay the percentage of $30,000. That's what I'm saying. Nobody has a write-off anymore. And the country will actually have more money. Let's go to some of my views. Ethu talking about people eating cats and dogs. Oh Lord. Okay, she want to get into that. Well, what do y'all think about people eating? I wasn't going to get into that conversation tonight.
No comment.
I think, to me, let me just tell you what I feel. I felt like President Trump got excited and went with something that he heard online that there are some people that crossed the border and pets were missing, especially the Haitians. So he ran off with that with another tweet that somebody said their cat was missing, and they found the migrants eating their cats, or the ducks that was at the lakes, that they saw people cutting the head of the ducks off at the lake to go eat them. But as the presidential candidate, saying something you have not checked personally or your campaign hasn't checked, to me, it just, you lower your bar. That's my opinion. You all of a sudden, I mean, you lower your bar, talking about, well, they're coming in, eating our cats and our dogs. I don't understand that. Do you want to comment on that? Jonathan said no.
Pastor, let me comment on
hold
it.
on. I'm going to come to you, Lady Betty. Jonathan.
You said he said no.
Hold
No.
on, Jonathan.
No, she got it. I said no. I don't have time for that. I really don't.
Okay. Okay, Lady Betty, what do you think about the dogs and their cats?
Okay, remember the idiom that they say it's raining cats and dogs? It's just an idiom.
That was not an idiom. Lady
You know
Betty,
how it
stop
says that we often use it too. It's
But that
raining
was
cats
not,
and
Trump
dogs.
was not using an idiom. Stop it.
Okay,
Stop it,
because
stop it.
this is what
Stop capping on my
people,
program tonight.
okay, this is what people use, that they're, just like they say it's raining cats and dogs. He could also mean they're eating cats and dogs in that same form.
Lady Betty,
know-
you drank the Kool-Aid. Listen,
Okay, oh, no
listen.
problem, Pastor, go on.
Yeah, that was not an idiom. There ain't no idiom. Somebody said they saw an Haitian took a duck off the lake, and they saw them cut the head of the duck off and took the duck off. And then another guy, this is why I watched the news and hear the people that it happened to. This lady said her cat was right here, and she actually saw, an Haitian took that cat away, that they stole the cat. All of a sudden, somebody came out with a meme that, oh yeah, the illegal immigrants or the Haitians are eating the people's pets. That was not an idiom. That was somebody stating something that he heard without checking the facts.
Oh, good, Pastor.
Anyway,
Can I just
let
add
me go
something
to
else before you go on?
Hakeem 18. I just don't want Trump to take my rights away when it comes to voting freely. Then I can get on board with my guy. Well, thank you. I don't think it was going to take any people's vote away. What do you mean by that? Hakeem 18, he didn't say it was taking anybody's votes away or any people's rights away.
I got a comment on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What's so wrong with showing your ID to vote?
Nothing. They need to do that.
Thank you. That's all.
They need to do that. You must show your ID to make sure, you want to make sure you are legal in the United States and you can actually vote. You have a voter registration card. That is absolutely 100% in agreement with you, Brother Jonathan.
Yeah.
All right. So Hakeem 18, nobody's trying to take your voting rights away, I don't think. So
show ID.
Huh?
Just show ID, bro.
Yeah, show your ID and you'll be able to vote. Alice, it shouldn't affect the employees at all. Alice is saying them doing equals taxation should not affect the employee because the employee is going to pay the same tax. Eto Simpson said, through that, Josh, Yolanda, Lady Betty, so you think it's okay for the rich to pay no taxes and the poor to pay 30 to 28%? Lady Betty, that question is for you.
Oh, no, ma'am. Be careful how you interpret what I said. I never mentioned those words that it was not proper for them to tax the rich. I just said that the taxation of the rich may affect the employers. But I also want to mention how many times we go to the Chinese people and we're afraid to eat their food because we say, oh, they might have killed a cat. They might have killed a dog. So, I understand President Trump's statement, and that's why I'm trying to go back, because you never know sometimes what you're eating. And we have all carried that. If we all tell the truth, we have all carried that about the Chinese people. So let's be real on here.
You're right about that.
You're right.
She's asking you about taxes, though. She said, is it okay for the poor people to pay 28%.
Oh, I can no longer
and
hear
let
him.
me finish. Lady Betty, stop. Is it okay?
I can't
for-
hear you.
Okay, you cannot hear me. All right. Joshua, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, but
but
Joshua,
I
she-
can
can't
you
hear
me?
him.
She answered though. She said she doesn't believe that there should be
I
that they
can't
shouldn't
hear
get taxed
you.
at all.
Okay, she says she cannot hear us. We are checking on your thing right now. Go ahead and unmute your mic. Lady Betty, unmute your mic.
Tell her to leave and come back.
Yeah.
Unmute your mic.
Maybe tell Kiana
Okay.
tell her to leave and come back.
Okay, you can leave us and come back. All right. But I want her to answer my viewers that said, if the poor people can pay 28%, what's wrong with the rich people pay 28%? That's the
If I
question.
can't hear him, I'm going off.
So
She answered though. She said that's not where she was the way she was saying.
what was she saying then?
She
That if
said
they tax the rich people 28%, that the employees will suffer.
Yeah,
That's what she's saying.
yeah.
yeah, because they're
How
gonna
would,
find
wait a minute, Brother Josh. Why would the employees suffer? If I'm paying 28%, why can't the employer pay 28%?
hey,
Tell
listen.
him, Josh.
If I used to pay 4% and now you're making me pay 28%, I'm going to find a way to make up that 24% that you just took from me. And guarantee I'm going to come down on the employers, and the employers are going to come down on the employees. It's a trickle effect. I don't understand how y'all feel like, oh, they're just going to say, yes, we'll take 28% too, like everybody else, and we're just going to leave everything like it is. That's not how that works. They are greedy. We know that they are greedy, and so they're not just going to leave.
Amen.
They're not going to leave money on the table and just say, okay, well, since it's even for everybody, cool. No, they're going to find a loophole, or
Come
they're going
on.
to put pressure on employees and employers.
Yeah.
What is that saying?
No.
No, it's
What do you
not.
mean? No,
All right. I just want
like
to
the
make sure.
yeah, the taxes are fair, but again, yeah, those are the choices that are made, but the consequences of those choices are going to be catastrophic for the other people.
Okay,
Yeah.
Lady Betty is back with us. Okay, one of my viewers said, is it okay for the rich to pay no taxes or less taxes than the poor?
I think I mentioned be careful that I'm not misinterpreted, because
why
I
we're asking
never
you again.
said, okay, I never said that it was okay for the rich not to be taxed. Please hear me correctly when you respond. I'm saying just exactly what Joshua has said. It's going to affect the employees. So I don't want to be misinterpreted what I'm saying.
But I'm going to
That's
ask
all
you
I
again.
said.
I'm going to ask you one more time. Is it okay for the rich to pay less taxes than the poor? Just answer me yes or no.
I didn't say that, Pastor.
I asked you a question.
No, the
You was
question to
related
me
to Trump.
was,
Come on, both of you are related. You can run for presidency. I'm asking
okay,
you a
thank you,
simple
Pastor,
question.
because I've already made
Is
my
it-
response.
I want a yes or a no. Is it okay to tax the rich people less than they tax the poor people?
I can't make that decision. That's not
The
mine to
answer,
make.
the answer is no, but the answer
Okay.
is it happens and it will continue to happen no matter what they put in place.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Joshua.
Let me,
So my
let me,
viewer, basically, little bit didn't answer the question, but what Joshua said, it's not okay, but they tax the rich on the same level that they tax the poor, that the poor will suffer more because it's going to take it out to them. I think you mentioned that because they are greedy, they're already getting 4%, while we didn't have up to 28%. So that the employees will suffer is to raise the taxes of the elite. But I just want to say something.
yeah, one, you're coming through a little bit muffled, but I remember how Trump got famous. He got famous when they were asking about his taxes. He said, if you want me to pay taxes, change the tax code. But you won't change the tax code because your donors benefit from it. So we're having this conversation about taxing the rich, but you're never going to change the tax code, and you can't, because your Democratic donors and Republican donors, I don't want to be, picking a side, but they're not going to benefit anymore. So change the tax code should be the issue, not necessarily if we're rich or poor. Change the tax code.
Thank you very much for that clarity. Well, I think my time
Amen.
is up again tonight. My time is up again tonight. All our good. We thank the New Solution says God provide the rich make things. The Joshua one of our viewers said you are so right because the
My phone.
so which is kind of anyone well, I want to thank everybody, all our callers that called in tonight. We thank you for joining us. And also, I want to thank Lady Betty for always busy schedule to join the conversation program tonight. Every Sunday, when she's join Betty. I want to thank Brother Jonathan Mike for also beginning to be a regular approach. And I love conversation. I want what conversation. I appreciate that with the Jonathan. Brother OMG, Mr. OMG. He's been running. I've extended my invitation to him several times. Was always busy doing this and that. I'm just so glad to be with us tonight. And one of my programs actually inspired Mr. OMG, Brother Jonathan, and also Akim 18. I'm gonna have 3 of them on my program because I was loving on they used to have a podcast called We Just Be Talk. And I was really loving it. And I noticed that because of the different people. So I may actually bring something home. And I'm going to name the program that I'm going to Just Be Talk. And I'm going to let them have this possibility. But I love when they started their podcast. I love it. It was different views, different opinions, and they got why is it? I mean, it was really juicy. But then I didn't see any podcast anymore. So hopefully, maybe next month I just get 3 of them on my program, and we're gonna call it We Just Be Talking. All right, Brother Jonathan, you down for that? Brother Jonathan, are you down for that? I can't hear him. All right, Brother Joshua.
He muted.
Brother Joshua, are you down for that?
Yeah, life
right.
be life be lifing. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Brother Jonathan, give me a thumbs up. Are you down for that?
I'm here to serve.
Are you down for me having a program with Just Be Talking? Just the 3 people that used to have the podcast.
I'm here to serve.
Here to serve. That's what I like. So I'm going to reach out to Akim 18, see if he can join us in this program. I thank you all again, all our viewers. Thank you on Facebook. Thank you on YouTube. We love you all. This is where we're going to end our program tonight. Again, you are watching what's going on with your host, Pastor. Until we meet again. Good night. Bye-bye.
Really?
Good night, everyone.